we had more people witnessing that. So they could stand in to say that, no, this is for the women and we want it to be as such. And what is good is that a lot of more people got involved, like the community. Almost every household have like a wife who is a member. Who is a member. So it's more like the security from the community is also larger. It is bigger, sorry. Okay. So that community protection is there, also there.
So you are suggesting that once it's done within the group, in a group, it's more secure. It's
secured, yes. Yes.
Does that mean that, are we advocating that the best way to go is for them to begin to look at these groups? Because if, for instance, Imani is having this MOU that we also, I doubt that anybody can take this away from Imani. If your group, for instance, or some recognized institution is having a hold of acres of land, it will be difficult for the community to struggle with it. But when individuals get the opportunity and get these lands from the chiefs, that will be easier for somebody to take it away from them. Are you then suggesting that the group system is what we should be looking at more?
Yeah, what we've gotten so far is with the group systems. Yes, in the groups, I'm not experiencing individual, because we actually don't even work with individuals.
Okay.
So we've not gone into a situation of learning how the individual situation will be like.
Okay.
We've been working more with groups and helping groups on their own initiate the process of engaging chiefs, making a justification why they need that tract of land to be able to farm.
Okay.
Yes.
So are we also encouraging more individual women to join the groups?
So they join. Join. It's because the more join, that's why the chief had to increase the land.
Okay.
Yes. Because when they farmed, we had they farmed soya beans and they farmed maize. So soya bean, soya bean is hot cake. People like it a lot. They buy it for poultry feed. Yeah. So that's the agri project is a value chain concept. So definitely you had the marketers, buyers within the chain. So immediately the women farmed, they bought it.
Okay.
Yes.
Santaba, can we hear
some hard money.
Okay.
Yes.
Can we hear from Santaba? Can we hear from the Lands Commission? Is there something you...
I want to come from the angle that we need to appreciate the fact that even sometimes access to land is difficult for some men also. Because of the kind of systems we practice up north, we have some difficulty around that, and it is more pronounced for the women.
Okay.
For instance, we are from a background where the man is the landlord of the house. He has the responsibility to take care of the woman. And so the question has always been, what do the women need the land to farm for? And so we need to come from the angle of advocating for the men to appreciate the fact that we need to economically empower these women so that they can also support in the household responsibilities. From that perspective, we will see that some changes may begin to happen. Our experiences as an organization have also been working with these women in groups. But of course, we've moved beyond that to start engaging groups of men and groups of traditional authorities to see how they can make land available to these women, not because we are looking for some form of equality among men and women, but just to improve the economic status of the various households. And so if we are doing this advocacy and we don't consciously engage the men, it's going to be a very difficult process. And so we have, in our advocacy, have been engaging more of the men to appreciate the reasons why we want to have these women have access to the land. And so just like a lawyer said, we've had a lot of avenues which we need to talk about and educate people about the status of the law and other interventions that can create these spaces. But we often do not take advantage of these spaces to start to talk about. Quite recently, we have engaged a land commission to start to engage women smallholder farmers on the new land bill he just mentioned, which was passed in December 2020, for people to appreciate even the content of the bill.
So it's possible that if we also look rather at the interest, we can have not necessarily the ownership of the land itself. Then, and it is cheaper to rather focus on the interest than to acquire the land, or to use the loose term, purchase it from the original owner. So Madam was asking about title. So we have what they call the allodia title. That is the original owner's title. And then the original owner may give a freehold, too much of complex terms, but that is potentially forever. And then we have a lease. Usually in Ghana it's 99 years or 50 years and so on. Then the Busan, which they call other interest. If we focus on that, I think it will be relatively cheaper for us to acquire these lands, or get the owners to understand that we are interested in planting cash crops on the land, but we are not interested in acquiring it per se. So your interest is coterminous with the lifespan of the crop. So if it's cocoa, palm, it's around 25 to 30 years. Yes. Then when it is done, you move on. Unless they want to renew it, then you replant if the land is so fertile. If it's cocoa, you can get about 30 years. So when you distinguish the ownership per se from the interest, it will become easier for these relatively poorer farmers to still have interest in land without having to own it. After all, if there is a problem or there's an issue of compulsory acquisition, your interest on the land will not be ignored. You will still have some compensation paid to you. So then the second one is about, when Madame asks about delays in passing critical laws. I've given Imani an assignment that perhaps now we have Freedom of Information Act.
A group, so we have the Ghana Parliamentary Monitoring Organization Network, which is made of other CSOs that have interest in parliamentary businesses. And Parliament has currently approached that the network take the step to help push the consideration of these two bills. I'll take this opportunity to also involve Madame Dorothy Gordon, she being a tech person, also to help us. I mean, it's a collective call, and all of us together should help push the consideration of these two bills. I mean, if we leave it to just Parliament alone, it will be dead.
Okay.
I think my concern has to do with how we operate most of our gender equality and inclusion programs. Even, for example, watching this documentary, I realized that 90% of the people that were involved were actually women. It's like we tend to focus more on women than men. And when it comes to access to land, I look at the issue in two connected lenses, like women having the problem and men actually having the solution. Because men holds majority of the land, of which we want to give part to women. Right, so we have to try as much as possible to be involving the men too in programs like this. They need to be sensitized more. Coming from the northern region, I think I resonated very well with the documentary because I felt like, access to land and control to land is equivalent to power, it's called to power, right? And men needs to be educated and sensitized that, giving land out does not deprive. So I feel like most men actually feel insecure when they see women actually doing well, or when they also have such powers. They feel like they are in the same levels. And most Northerners are actually, they are proud men, and they always want to be seen in a higher rank than women.
There were a lot of issues pertaining to lands, and it differs when it comes to the agri sector, and it differs when it comes to the mining sector. And now we all know that now estate developers are also coming in, so land is a very huge access to everyone. But when it comes to mining sector as to women, not everyone has access to concession. They are mostly doing the lower jobs, that's buying the ore and processing it. So women are facing a lot when it comes to land acquisition. And there is a lot that needs to be done due to education, advocacy, awareness creation. And sometimes the way the mining sector is structured, you need to use the Minerals Commission, the Chamber, and others to get this land. And anytime you engage with these women, they'll tell you finance is their huge issue. But apart from finance, what else can we do to these women? Except we do training, bringing in human expertise and other people to also support them. But I can tell you that they will tell you finance. But when they come in as a group, women have money. Yes, they do.
That will have cash.
That's why we mostly work with them in a corporate group, so that they can also be able to contribute. We can't do everything for them. They need to know how to also come on board with the little that they have. And there is this program that we did in Savannah, and when we asked them to be in a group, they were able to raise more than 3,000. And it was less than 2 months. So we could see that though there is money, there is more to it. That's the education. Thank you.